We're going to start right off with tip number 1, and that is to sign up for your first off-road racing event right now. You don't need to wait until you're faster. You don't need to wait until next season starts. You just need to go sign up and do it now. You're going to have the time of your life. You're probably going to be hooked on it, and you'll probably be ready to enter into the next race right after this event. So go ahead and sign up. Before we go any further, we're going to talk about what is a cross-country race. Some examples of cross-country races are enduros, hare scrambles, hare and hound races, and desert races. Each one of those could be considered a cross-country race. And in this video, we're going to be talking about tips that will help you in your first cross-country race. So let's dive into it. Tip number 2, any bike will do for your first race. You don't need a cross-country or enduro bike. As long as it's not a pick bike or adventure bike, it will suffice. A lot of people come from motocross and use motocross specific bikes, and they do fine in these cross-country races. Tip number 3, you will need some sort of hand protection. For example, if your bike is a MX bike, you're probably not going to have any type of hand guards or hand protection. Now, people have strong preferences for open-ended hand guards or full wraparounds, often called bark busters. There are reasons that I'm not going to get into for each one of those, that people have their preferences, but just something to protect your fingers and hands is what you're looking for here. Tip number 4, you don't need to cut your bars for your first race. If your bars are stock length, that's fine. If you come back for more racing and you do a lot of woods racing, you're probably going to want shorter bars than stock. Shorter bars don't handle as well at higher speeds, but they do help you fit in between trees. So it depends on if you're doing desert racing here or woods racing. A good measurement to start with is shoot for around 800 millimeters or 31.5 inches of total length. Remember, if you have full wraparounds, that's going to add to your total length. Tip number 5, fresh tires are good, but if you're going to be entering the C or novice class, any tires should do as long as there's knobbies on there and all the knobs haven't fallen off. Any intermediate or soft compound tire will work. Tip number 6, if the race will be in deep sand or will be a mudder, a scoop tire like an MX-14 may make your day more enjoyable, as this type of tire will hook up better with those conditions. Tip number 7, if you're running tubes, they will work for your first race. Heavy duty tubes are preferable. If money is not an issue, consider buying bib mooses to take flats out of the equation. Tip number 8, some races will have a vendor on site that will change tires and tubes for a fee. Usually it's around $20 or $30, but it's best to be prepared and bring extra tubes and your spoons in case you get a flat. Tip number 9, you might want to go ahead and soften your suspension a little bit, especially if your bike is set up for motocross, big jumps. You're not going to be taking hard hits like you will landing a jump. You can go ahead and soften up that compression a little bit. If you're enjoying this video, click that subscribe button. Most of my videos are edits of my races along with commentary. Tip number 10, many people neglect their air filters. Most off-road races will be more dusty than a normal trail ride or a motocross track that gets watered once or twice a day. So go ahead and get a fresh filter on there with oil and you'll be good to go. Tip number 11, you don't need to buy special graphics or a racing number for your first race. Most racing organizations will have temporary numbers for you to put on your bike or numbers with your row assignments if you're doing an enduro, and you just shouldn't have to worry about that. Make sure you contact the racing organization before you ride out there and just ask them if they provide temp numbers. Tip number 12, you don't absolutely need a skid plate for your first race, but many people will have skid plates if they're running cross-country bikes or enduro bikes. It all depends on how rocky it's going to be. If there's going to be small rocks there, you might not want to risk taking a shot to your engine casing and putting a hole in it. So it's kind of rider preference on this one. Most of the people I know use some sort of skid plate. Tip number 13, let's talk about gear ratios. If you're racing in the desert, consider a lower gear ratio. For tight or twisty woods, consider a higher gear ratio. Tip number 14, set your sag before the race. You want your bike to be able to turn properly. If you don't know how to do this, just ask a friend, or when you show up to the race, ask somebody how to do it. They can help you. If you've never done it before, check your owner's manual for the sag recommendations. For example, most Austrian bikes recommend starting at 105 millimeters and adjusting from there. Tip number 15, there's a couple things you can do for a sand race if your first cross-country race is going to be in sand or deep sand. Number 1, consider increasing your compression on the front forks so the front tire doesn't sink as deep into the sand. Number 2, consider increasing your sag by 3 to 5 millimeters. And number 3, you can also lower the forks and the triple clamps, so that will make the front wheel not want to knife as easily into the sand. Tip number 16, you're going to get thirsty during the race, so go ahead and buy a hydration pack if you don't have one and bring it. My personal setup has a tube that feeds into my helmet so I don't have to take my hands off the bars. You don't have to go that far, but you will probably want water, especially during the summer, or if your first race is going to be 90 minutes to 2 hours, depending on the series that you're going to, you are going to want water. Tip number 17, avoid filling your hydration pack with something super sugary like Gatorade. It's going to cause your stomach to get upset if you have a lot of sugar as you're working out. If you really like Gatorade, if you like the taste of it, consider diluting it with water to help with that. Tip number 18, a lot of people from motocross always wear tear-offs. You can put tear-offs on your goggles if you want to. Most people don't use them unless it's recently rained or going to be really muddy. Tip number 19, throwing away your goggles if you run out of tear-offs is extremely risky. It's not recommended. Just one shot to the eye is all you need to do some serious damage. Many riders do it, but it's better if you take an extra pair of goggles and put them in your backpack. Tip number 20, this is a bonus tip for the goggles. If it's going to be really muddy, I've seen some riders take an extra pair of goggles and put them on top of their goggles. So you're basically using 2 pair of goggles at the same time. That outer pair of goggles they'll use for the start, maybe the first half mile. Once they fill up with mud or they use all those tear-offs, they'll toss those and just use the base goggles that are on their helmet. Tip number 21, another mud bonus tip. If it's recently rained a lot or if it's going to be really muddy, grab a couple shop towels and stuff them in your pants. They'll come in handy if you drop your bike or if your hands fall in the mud. It gets really tough to hold on to the bars with slippery or muddy hands, and you'll want something to wipe your hands off on. Tip number 22, if you're doing a long distance enduro race or going out into the backcountry, consider bringing some sort of repair kit, or at least at the minimum some zip ties in case you have a flat. Tip number 23, spark arresters. Most races are closed course and don't require spark arresters, but some races that are done on U.S. forest land will require them. Just check with the promoter before you ride out and see if you need one. Tip number 24, let's talk about gear. At a minimum, you'll need boots, helmets, and goggles. Most race organizations will at least require these. In addition, you'll want to have gloves, pants, and jersey. Most racers will add on top of that chest protectors with shoulder protection, and also many will add a combination of either knee guards or braces, elbow pads, and kidney belts. Tip number 25, bring a fuel can or maybe even 2 if your race is really long. There could be remote fuel stops if you're doing an enduro out into some remote backcountry. Remember, you can attach things to your gas cans like food or gels to keep you going throughout the day. Tip number 26, tape a watch to your handlebars. This will help you if your event is a timed event. You want to see how much time is left. For enduros, this will also help you stay on your key time throughout the day. Tip number 27, check your spokes the week before the race. This is another thing that you won't have to worry about on race day. Tip number 28, if you're entering an enduro, you're going to want to know what type of enduro it is you're entering. There are sprint enduros, restart enduros, and reliability enduros. Each of them are run differently. Check with your promoter on which one it is and then do a little research to know exactly what you're getting into. They're not that difficult once you figure out how they're run. Tip number 29, let's talk about classes. Often the most asked question when people are entering cross-country racing is, which class should I enter? If you're a newer racer, definitely go for the C class or novice class. Or if you're a beginner rider, you can even do the D class if they have one, or sportsman class. If you're coming from the motocross track and you're fast, most likely you're going to be pretty fast in the woods too. Consider entering into the B or intermediate class. You could do C, but you might get some side eyes if you're 2 to 3 minutes per lap faster in a hare scramble than your nearest competitor. Tip number 30. On top of the main A, B, and C, there are classes split into displacements and age groups. An example of this is an open class or a 250cc class. Some races even have age group classes. There are rules each racing organization has as to when you can enter into an age group, whether it's the start of the season or on race day you have to be a certain age. Just check with the rules to see if you're the right age and which class you can enter. In some race series, the open class can ride whatever bike they want to. However, in some series like GNCC, the open class is a big bore class. So you really need to have something that is above 250cc to run in that class. Tip number 31, if you're entering a hare scramble style race, it's either going to be timed or it's going to be a set number of laps. Either ask somebody at the organization or ask somebody you park next to how the race is going to be run so you know what you're getting into before you get to the starting line. Tip number 32, let's talk about registrations. Some racing promoters will offer you a discount if you register online rather than on site. Some race series will be 100% online registration and others will be 100% in-person registration. Some allow credit cards and some are cash only, so you really need to figure out before you get there on race day how the registration is done and if you're having to bring cash or not. Tip number 33, what do you actually have to pay for to enter a race? On your first race, you can probably expect to pay your race entry fee. Some racing organizations charge a gate fee while others do not. You're probably going to have to buy a transponder as well for your helmet. This is how you'll keep time. And you will have to pay a fee to join the series. Now on your first race, you probably won't have to pay to join the entire series for an entire season. Some racing organizations will allow you to join just for the weekend, kind of get your feet wet, and then you can join for a season, maybe at a prorated rate, maybe not, if you decide to continue racing. After your first race, if you really enjoy it, go back to the registration and see if they'll apply your weekend fee to the entire series if you decide to join. Tip number 34, let's talk about camping. If you're camping for the weekend, there will most likely be an additional per car or per person camping fee. Tip number 35, waivers. You're going to have to sign a waiver to race. This is either going to be in person on site at registration or strictly online. Just make sure you ask before you drive out there. The best way to do this is to try to find a Facebook group that has information about the series, and then you can ask your questions there. Tip number 36, make sure you have good directions to the race. Many races are on unimproved property and there aren't exact addresses that can be looked up in Google Maps. As a backup, try to get the GPS coordinates of the gate where you're going to, and that should get you right to where you want to be. Tip number 37, race gas. Make sure you give them your email address when you register, and don't give them a fake email address either. Most racing series will participate in what's called the Rocky Mountain ATVMC Race Gas Program. If you're not familiar with Rocky Mountain, that's a website that sells parts and gear for dirt bikes and ATVs. What's going to happen is after your race, about a week or so later, you'll get an email saying you participated in this race and you get $10 off at the website. Let's talk about some race prep stuff. Tip number 38, how hard you can push during a race will depend on how good a shape you're in. You do not have to train to enter your first hare scramble or enduro race, but it also doesn't hurt either. Anything that gets your heart rate up over 150 or 160 is good and will benefit you during a race. Tip number 39, here's a bonus tip for training. If you're planning on racing in the heat, go outside during the hottest part of the day to try to acclimate to that heat before you go out and race in it. Tip number 40, here's another bonus tip for training. Take your bicycle, or if you're a runner, go run or ride your bicycle in the hottest part of the day. Remember to start this easy and slowly build. Doing too much too soon of this can definitely cause injuries, so be careful on that one. Tip number 41, let's talk about cold temperatures. If it's going to be below 40 degrees for the race, you're going to want to bring some nitrile gloves to put under your moto gloves. Your hands are going to sweat if you do this, but at least they won't freeze from the cold temperatures. If you have some extra money, consider buying some winter racing gloves, or you could even go a step further and buy some covers that go over the bars that's going to deflect all that cold wind on your hands. Trust me on this one, you don't want your hands to freeze up. You won't be able to pull the clutch or brake levers in. Tip number 42, another weather related tip. If it's going to be raining and cold, buy one of those moto jackets that cover your chest. Also consider some waterproof socks that'll keep your feet warm. Tip number 43, bring some sunscreen and use it. Tip number 44, let's talk about hydration. You want to start hydrating a minimum of 3 days before the race. It takes at least this long for your body to fully hydrate. Tip number 45, add electrolytes to your water. You're going to want electrolytes that contain at a minimum sodium, potassium, and magnesium. These are essential to the process of hydration and your body needs them. Tip number 46, if your race is long enough and has pit stops, rehearse the pit stop beforehand. Are you going to have people helping you, or are you going to do it all on your own? If you're going to have people helping you, decide who's going to help with the gas, who's doing the goggle swap, and who's helping with hydration. All this can save valuable seconds during a pit stop. Tip number 47. If you're participating in a relay event and they allow third parties to help out with the wristband exchange, or however the baton is passed to the new rider, practice these exchanges with your teammates. Tip number 48. A lot of people these days are recording their races, either with a GoPro or an Insta360. If you want to record your race, it's a good idea because then you'll have it to watch later, but make sure you practice this before race day. As a bonus, if this is an AMA sanctioned event, you will most likely need a chest mount as you can't attach any sort of camera to your helmet. Tip number 49, camera battery. Depending on your race length, your battery may run out. Running an external battery is an option, but if this is your first cross-country race, don't worry about that. You already have too much to be concerned about, and you'll get a good hour of footage anyway with one battery. Tip number 50. If the race you're entering is an AMA sanctioned race, make sure you do this at home and not on site, as cell phone coverage is sometimes sketchy. Let's talk about some things you might want to bring to the race other than your dirt bike, yourself, and your gear. Tip number 51, bring a chair to sit on and a canopy to sit under, especially if it's going to be hot outside. You're going to be sitting around waiting for your race to start, or between practice and your race, or the parade lap in your race. Trust me, you're going to want a chair and a canopy. Tip number 52, a fan or a misting fan works wonders in the heat. Tip number 53, bring bug spray. You've probably never been to this property before where you're racing and you don't know whether there's going to be mosquitoes or not. Tip number 54, find out if there's going to be food trucks on site for the race. You may not even need to pack a lunch. Tip number 55, remember to bring a cooler with ice, Gatorade, beer if you want. After the race, you are going to want to sit down and recover for a while before you begin to pack up. Tip number 56, bring extra cash for the race day. You never know what vendors will be there and what they'll be selling. Who knows, you may get to bring home some cookies for your spouse. Tip number 57, make sure you know when registration will be open. Most places will let you register on site the day of the race, but not all races will have registration open all day the day of the race. I've been to a race where registration was only open from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. And if you were planning on getting there at 11 a.m., you would miss registration entirely. Tip number 58, let's talk about camping again. If you're going to bring an RV to the race and you're going to try to park near friends, ask them where they park. Remember, cell phone coverage might not be great at the place you're going to, and finding them after dark with minimal light can be very difficult. Tip number 59, let's talk about arriving. Make sure you plan to arrive about 2 hours before the race or practice starts, or if there's a riders meeting, 2 hours before that as well. When you get to the property, there's probably going to be a line of cars for you to get in. You're going to have to sign waivers or pay to get in the gate. There will also probably be a line at registration. You have to unload your bikes, you have to put all your gear on, you have to warm up. You probably are going to want to eat some snack or lunch, and if it's your first race, you're going to be doing all this for the first time and you don't want to have to rush it, so get there early. Tip number 60, let's talk about dust. Some parts of the country get a lot of rain and some parts don't get nearly as much rain. If it's going to be dusty, park away from the main thoroughfares, the main roads that go through the pits. Don't try to park near the starting line either, because that's where everybody's going to go to and that's where the dust will be the worst. By the end of the day, you don't want your truck covered in dust. Tip number 61, stop drinking water about 2 hours before the race. You really don't want to have to stop and pee during the race. Tip number 62, if you're a social person, you're probably going to want to strike up conversations with the people you park next to. Introduce yourself, see what class they're running in. I recommend you keep these conversations to a minimum until you're fully ready to race. That means your bike's ready to go, you're fully changed, you've registered, you've done all that. Really easy to get distracted with the newness of the race, and you don't want to forget something like forgetting to check your air pressure, or forgetting your goggles, or forgetting to fill up your gas. Tip number 63, speaking of tires, check your tire pressure. If you're running air forks, check your air fork pressure before riding. Many people will forget this, especially on their first race. There's a lot going on. If you're not sure how much pressure to put in your tires, a good starting point is 13 psi for the front and 14 psi for the rear. Less pressure will give you more grip, but it also increases your chances for pinch flats. A good tip for the mud is drop the rear to 10 psi and front to 12 psi. That'll give you some better traction in the mud. Tip number 64, if your race is longer than 30 minutes, you need to eat more on race day than you do on a normal day. You're going to want that extra energy. If you're doing an enduro, you need to continue to eat throughout the day in between the tests. Tip number 65, fuel your bike. You won't believe the amount of people who have gotten to the end of a race and run out of gas because they forgot to fuel their bike. Tip number 66, get to the start line about 10 to 15 minutes before the race starts. Some race series will go through the pits and announce that a race is about to begin, whereas other race series don't do that and they just expect you to show up on time. Let's talk about the actual race. Tip number 67, starts are important. It's the only time in the race where you can pass all your competitors at the same time. Make sure you know what the start procedure is for your race and practice it. If it's dead engine starts or live starts, or if they have some weird bizarre starts, Florida Trail Riders does Le Mans style starts. If it's Le Mans style starts, you'll need a kickstand or someone to hold your bike for you. Whatever it is, practice these starts before the race day and it'll definitely help you during your race. If they have a parade lap or a practice lap, do the practice lap and then come back to the start area and practice starts a couple times. Tip number 68, figure out how your race is actually going to start. If it's an enduro, you're probably going to be starting as individuals or groups on your key time. If it's a hare scramble, each class will probably have its own row, and as the class in front of you starts, you'll either move up to the start line or you'll start right from where you lined up. Make sure you ask one of your neighbors when you parked how the starting procedure works. Tip number 69, be careful on the starts. If you're a motocross veteran, by all means, go for the whole shot, fly into the first corner and pass everybody. If you didn't come from motocross, I would suggest hanging back a bit on the start, especially if you're in a C or D class or sportsman. First corner is where pileups are the most frequent. New guys love to fly into turn one, but they can't necessarily handle the speed. They can't complete the turn. Sometimes they low side or high side. Sometimes they ping pong off other riders. It really can be a catastrophe in C class. So be careful on your starts. If you're worried about it, hang back on your first race. And then after you get the feel of it, you could be a little bit more aggressive on your second or third race. Tip number 70, breathe. After you leave the starting area, after your first couple turns, once you're into the second or third minute of the race, a lot of people forget to breathe. You have the adrenaline running through you. Ends up happening is they hold onto their handlebars super tight, they get arm pump, and it really makes it hard to get back into the race. So remember to breathe. Tip number 71, settle in. Once you hit the woods, or if you're desert racing after you leave the start area, settle into a pace that you can maintain for the entire race. If it's a 2-hour race, don't sprint in the first 10 minutes of the race. Remember, your heart rate is likely to spike to more than 180 beats per minute. This is going to tire you out faster than you think it will. Get a good pace, settle in, and have a blast racing. Tip number 72, for enduros, remember your key times. Many enduro racers will have a cheat sheet for key times taped to their handlebars. And remember, transfers eat up time. So after you do a special test, do your transfer immediately and then go hang out with your friends after the transfers before your next test starts. Tip number 73, no quitting. Your goal in your first race should be to finish the race. Don't quit. Even if you want to quit, don't quit. It's just going to make it easier in the future to quit. So really do your best to finish the race. This should be the goal of your first race. Tip number 74, stay on 2 wheels. For your first race, it's probably going to be more important to stay on 2 wheels than it is to go super fast. The quickest way to wear yourself out in an endurance race or a 90-minute or 2-hour race is to have to pick your bike up multiple times, especially multiple times in succession. And the more tired you get, the more likely you are to wreck even more. Tip number 75, be competitive. But you're also going to want to allow other riders to pass you in certain circumstances. Remember, there are other classes racing on the course at the same time you are. If somebody is behind you rev bombing you, they're likely in a different class. This is especially true if it's an enduro race. If the rider behind you has caught you, they're already faster than you, just let them pass. Tip number 76, how do you know somebody's in a different class or not? This isn't really important in enduro as you're racing the clock, but it does matter a lot in hare scrambles. You want to race hard riders in your class, but for riders in other classes, you don't want to race them hard. You either want to try to pass them easily or let them by if they're faster than you. Some series will use different number letter combinations, while other series might have colored dots on your front number plate in the back of your helmet. Before you start your race, you need to be able to differentiate riders in your class from riders not in your class. Tip number 77, keep your hands on the bars. Don't take your hands off the bars when allowing a rider to pass you. Some riders will take their left hand or right hand off and point where they want to be passed, and other riders will have the intention saying, I'm going to go left or go right when they point. So it really doesn't do anybody any good to take your hand off the bar and point in any direction. Taking your hands off the bars just puts both riders in danger. Tip number 78, if you have to pull off the trail for some reason, keep your trail side foot on the peg. You don't want to get run over or clipped by another foot peg. Tip number 79, let other riders know that you're going to pass them. In enduro, a lot of people just use revving to let the rider in front of you know that you're there. In hare scrambles, it's a little different. If you know you have a pass somebody, if you're coming on the inside, let them know you're there with either a rev or a loud woo, something like that. Something that lets them know that you're there and that you're going to intend to pass them. Best time to do this on 4-stroke engines, because they're so loud, is while both bikes are braking. Some racers are going to give you a little extra room if they know you're going to be passing them. Tip number 80, don't race through scoring. This doesn't really apply to enduros, but if you're doing hare scramble style racing, it's really single file through scoring. It really messes up the RFID readers if you try to race through scoring. Tip number 81, look for different lines, but don't cut the course. When I say cutting the course, I really mean taking off large sections of the course, not necessarily finding a unique line in a specific turn. Try to find lines outside the main line that other riders aren't taking. Also, if you see a line getting burnt in and that line looks good, take that line. Tip number 82, if the course is backing up in front of you, if there's a rider that's gotten stuck or there's a section that's hard and some people have fallen on it, it's best not to stop in this line. You're going to get hung up there for quite a while. Most racing organizations will allow you to go 10 to 15 feet off of the course if there's a backup. So it's a good opportunity to pass a handful of riders all at the same time if this happens. Tip number 83, look for hard easy splits. If it's going to be hilly out there especially, a lot of racing organizations will have a split in the course for a hard line or an easy line. The easy line is going to take longer and the hard line is going to save you a lot of time. So look for these hard easy splits during your practice or parade lap. If you're comfortable, try them out. The easy splits can easily add up to 10 to 20 second penalty. It's all going to depend on the difficulty of the hard line. Tip number 84. Don't follow the rider in front of you. This is especially true if conditions are tough or if you're in the C class or sportsman D class. Riders are going to get stuck in front of you and you want to be able to pass them, not get stuck behind them. Tip number 85, if you're racing an enduro, there's not going to be a practice lap or a parade lap. So you're going to want to look up the trail as far as you can since you haven't seen the course before. Setting up the next turn is going to be key to keeping your momentum on that course. Tip number 86, hitting the wall. Most racers get close to hitting limits during a race. If you hit a wall towards the end of the race, don't quit. Focus your mind on minimizing mistakes and continue towards the finish line. However, if you do start to get dizzy, feel nauseous, or see stars, these are all signs of heat exhaustion and you need to pull over and rest. Tip number 87, if you see a downed rider, you don't need to stop and help them, especially if they are moving or trying to get their bike back on the course. There's going to be sweepers that come behind you that are going to help for that. Tip number 88, if you do decide to stop and help somebody and they aren't moving or they're unconscious, don't remove their helmet. Send another racer to get help and wait for medical personnel to arrive. Tip number 89, off-road courses are extremely well marked most of the time. However, ribbons do get blown through. It happens. At some point, you may find yourself off course. If that happens, you need to turn around and get back on the course. But be extremely careful not to go backwards on the course when you rejoin the course. Remember, racers are going to be coming at you at 20, 30 miles per hour, and a collision could mean serious injury. All right, let's talk about some post-race things. All right, let's talk about tips for after the race. Tip number 90, protest. This probably won't affect you in your first race. Each series will have a protest period following the race. Check the rules of each organization to see how this works. Tip number 91, cool down. After the race, it's good to start the cool down process, especially on super hot days. If you want an easy way to cool down, take off all the gear above your waist and pour some cold water over your head and shoulders. Tip number 92, go spectate. After your race finishes, more than likely there will be other races going on. Go check out the starts of those races and see what other riders are doing. Also, you can go and check out specific sections that you just rode on the course. Some racing organizations allow pit bikes and golf carts, and some don't allow them, so you need to check to see what's allowed if you want to go check out other races happening later in the day. Tip number 93, socialize. After the race is a good time to meet people and make some friends. A good icebreaker could be something like, hey, number 153, sorry I ran you off the course on lap 3. Tip number 94, if the race you're at has live scoring, check the website before leaving. You may have made the podium and have a trophy to pick up. Tip number 95, if they don't have live scoring, most racing series will have on-site results about an hour after the race ends. Be patient as they may have to do some hand scoring. Tip number 96, let's talk about the podium. If you make the podium, think about who you want to thank. Like, do I want to thank my friends and family for inviting me out here? Do I want to thank my friend for lending me his bike? That type of stuff. You don't want to get caught off guard if there's an MC asking questions. Tip number 97, if you see the person who set up the course, give him or her a compliment. These courses take a couple weeks to set up and they're a ton of work. Tip number 98, when you get home and you've washed your bike and you've put everything up, take a moment to think about what you would have done differently on that day. If you're a really competitive person, think about how you could have had a better result and do some things to practice to make that result better. All right, 2 more tips. Tip number 99, bring your kids and let them race too. Check with the race series, as sometimes kids races are the day of the adult race and sometimes they're the day before. Sometimes the minis are the day of and the Pee-wee race is the day before. So you really need to figure out when the kids races are so that you can bring your kids to have fun too. And lastly, tip number 100, have fun. We all know some people get really into racing and are really competitive, but it starts with having fun. None of us are doing this thinking that we're going to be pro someday. We're all doing this because we enjoy riding our dirt bikes, we enjoy racing, and most of all, we enjoy having fun. Thank you for watching, and if I missed any tips, put them in the comments and I'll include them in the next video.